What's up, college football fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're going to talk about the Mississippi State defense and look at some plays and kind of look at what they're going to try to do against LSU and talk about what Jayden Daniels, the quarterback for LSU, needs to do to have success against this Mississippi State defense. So we're going to look at about 4 or 5 clips of Mississippi State against Arizona to kind of see what they're trying to do. Then we'll look at some plays from Jayden Daniels to see kind of the type of plays to attack this Mississippi State defense. So Mississippi State, let's talk about them real quick. The first 2 games, they haven't had a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They've had a few sacks and a few quarterback hurries, but I think it's a defense with potential to get pressure, right? It's a defense with potential to cause some kind of chaos in the backfield. But one thing is for certain, they've done great against the pass. I think they're giving up like 5.6 yards per attempt, which is fantastic. So they're trying to keep everything in front. So what you're going to see with these videos that we're going to kind of break down, these 4 or 5 clips, is you'll see a lot of kind of deep zone, cover 3, cover 4 type deal, and then you'll see some kind of like unique stunts at the line of scrimmage to try to get some pressure on the quarterback, but they're trying to make the quarterback have a bad decision, right? They're trying to keep everything in front, which with quarterbacks, we get a little bored, right? You get a little bored with the dink and dunk stuff, and then you start to force and push stuff downfield, which is what happened with the Arizona quarterback when he threw, I think, 3 interceptions against Mississippi State's defense. So Mississippi State's trying to drop guys into coverage, let the quarterback make mistakes. So how do you attack that if you're a quarterback? Well, you do exactly what they're letting you do, right? Which is dink and dunk your way, right? There's going to be plenty of space. It's just about taking the space, reading the defense pre-snap, and knowing where to go to the ball. Eventually, those DBs will start creeping in. That's when you take your deep shot. And with receivers like LSU have, I think you should be able to get them the ball in space and let them create and let them have a good opportunity. Also, with Daniels being such a good athlete and a good runner, there's going to be some space to run the ball as well, especially if they're going to drop that many guys back. Now, we do anticipate Mississippi State having a spy, and we're going to see some clips of Mississippi State having a spy on Arizona's quarterback, but Jayden Daniels is a bit more athletic than Arizona's quarterback. He's going to be a better runner, and so I anticipate Mississippi State having a better athlete spying Jayden Daniels. So again, this is just our 2 cents, right? Mississippi State's defense trying to keep everything in front. Really good against the pass, not letting any big plays happen, and they're trying to keep everything in front and force a bad decision by the quarterback. If you're the quarterback, Jayden Daniels in this case, you are trying to get the ball to your receivers in space, underneath type throws that are going to be there. Be patient because the big plays, hopefully will be coming if you're an LSU fan. And then if you're Daniels, you also want to use your legs and run if the defense is going to give you space. So with all that said, let's dive into this film. But before we do, just consider subscribing to the channel if you like any quarterback-related content. We spend a lot of time with the SEC here, but any quarterback breakdown or any quarterback film is fair game here. So let's go ahead and watch Mississippi State's defense. Again, 4 or 5 plays or so. Look at what they're trying to do. And then let's go ahead and watch a few clips of Jayden Daniels and some plays that could potentially work against this defense. All right, so here's a quick example of the zone that they'll use. And now, while it is 2nd and 20, they use this type of scheme kind of often, which we'll see in these videos. So we're just going to see a little cover 3, right? So you got 2 up top safeties, snap the ball, bail, middle, and this third here, and this DB will just sit in this kind of curled flat region here. So again, one of the type of zones that you'll see Mississippi State do, hits him off line of scrimmage. He's just going to sit. He's squatting to that flat, and this is actually one of the picks that Mississippi State forced. So we won't have to watch the rest of the video, but the quarterback runs around a little bit and then throws the interception and forces a ball there. So here is some more deep zone you'll see from Mississippi State's defense. It's a 3rd and 8 here, but we're dropping. We're bailing, and you can see while they have like a man kind of tended to, or man's scheme here, they are responsible for this kind of flat area as well. You can see that the DB stays watching the quarterback the entire time as he's bailing out. But what you'll see that does is it creates space underneath, right? Because we got bail, bail, bail. So this is some type of like quarters probably coverage here, and so you want to attack underneath, and then which they did not do here. They threw an interception deep, but you'll see a little comeback route here, right, with Butte, with the receivers that LSU has. They should be able to get open, especially if there's that much space between them and the DBs. But again, everyone's bailing. You can see zone. And he's responsible for here and out here. And so we'll see that this ball is thrown deep. Shouldn't be thrown like that. Boom, ends up being a interception. All right, so here is a 3rd and long here. We're kind of getting a pattern. Arizona was in a lot of 3rd and long situations. Never a good thing. But 3rd and 10 here, and we're going to see, again, another just kind of deep zone here. And what we've seen in the past videos or the past clips, that they will have a corner and press man, and he'll like bail out. This time the corner actually blitzes. Safety comes down, is responsible for this zone. Safety here, and then DB, of course, about 7 to 8 yards off line of scrimmage. And so this is a good example of an underneath throw and the space that's there. Now the quarterback for Arizona has to make this guy miss first, right? But even if you take that away, there's so much space underneath, even on 3rd and 10s. Mississippi State kind of just wants you to dink and dunk down the field, so you want to take it. So again, there's space there, but just kind of recognizing the pre-snap read and knowing that Mississippi State is kind of giving you that. All right, last clip of Mississippi State's defense that we will watch. I wanted to show this one because it's a little bit different than the previous clips. Now, while they still are dropping and bailing their DBs here, they have kind of a unique blitz, and they have a spy on the quarterback, right? So I anticipate that Mississippi State will, of course, have a spy on Jayden Daniels. I don't know if it's going to be a defensive lineman. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but regardless, I think they'll have a spy on Daniels. So this is kind of a unique blitz. So we saw the corner blitz last video, and then we're going to see a blitz here. So something else Mississippi State likes to do is they want to get pressure. They haven't had a ton of success as of late, the first 2 games, but I do think eventually they'll be getting more and more pressure, right? So their main thing is drop a bunch in the coverage, get pressure, have you force something deep, which is exactly what happens here. And this is another interception for the Arizona quarterback. So we'll see. Boom. Okay, so they are blitzing. They are bringing 5, blitzing 2, right? And then they're dropping one of their defensive linemen who is just spying on the Arizona quarterback. And you'll see they're actually all in man now, right? So we've seen a bunch of zone, but now we see man with one up top safety. And so then the quarterback's able to escape. But like we talked about in the video, throws an interception, right? So if we go back to like right here. So this is the spy right here. So I think they'll probably put someone faster on Daniels because that guy's not catching that quarterback. But yeah, so I guess this is an example of them trying to, force a bad throw, bring in pressure, kind of a unique blitz, and they went man on that coverage. All right, so I know LSU fans don't want to see any more clips from this Florida State game, but this last drive is a good example of kind of what to do against this Mississippi State defense, unless Mississippi State, of course, makes changes. So we're going to see a lot of underneath type throws, right? So we already got several underneath throws available, right? So again, like Mississippi State's defense, Florida State's defense was dropping a bunch into coverage this last drive. So you just hit your underneath guys. Just a quick example, but particular defense gives you, you can dunk down the field. But I do think shots are going to be there. Again, 1st and 10. They're only bringing 3. Now, Mississippi State's probably going to bring 4, and they're going to be blitzing a lot more in this series. But the point is just like the similar plays, right? So you want to have these underneath type routes and plays. Does he get pressure here? Yep. And then he's able to take off and run, right? But you saw like the space there, right? There's space to throw on all these underneath type routes and schemes here against this Florida State defense on this last drive. Let's go ahead and watch like 1 or 2 more clips, just some examples. All right, last clip that we'll watch. Obviously, you got safeties back 15 plus yards. Not going to see that against Mississippi State. And we got a little more man coverage here on this throw here. But still the concept remains the same. They're trying to keep everything in front, exactly what Mississippi State's going to do. And then here they have a spy on the quarterback, if not 2 spies, right? But regardless, you got 4 or 5 guys in the box every play, which is probably what Mississippi State's going to do because they're going to have to spy on him. And then we had man, 2 deep man here, kind of like a shell look. But still the underneath was open. Boom, right, Butte open, right? So I think if whatever look they get, the receivers for LSU should have the advantage here. But again, it's just up to taking those kind of underneath shots and let your receivers make a play in space. So again, just a few clips, just showing Mississippi State's defense and what they're potentially going to try to do against LSU and kind of what their defense looks like, and then looking at LSU's offense and just more so looking at that offense to say, hey, here's a few plays that could potentially work. All in all, just hit your underneath guys and let them make plays and give them the ball in space. So again, take this with a grain of salt, right? They could come out and do something totally different, but this is just our kind of take on the game of what their defense is trying to do and then what LSU's quarterback needs to do to have some success. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about the Mississippi State defense? Did I miss something? What do you think about LSU's offense and what the quarterback needs to do? Let us know in the comments below. And again, if you like this type of video, please consider subscribing. All that fun YouTube stuff, it does help. And we'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video.